My sister faked Rehab records to ruin my engagement. She thought she'd won, tearing my life apart. But at her lavish engagement party, I turned the tables with a revenge she never saw coming. The air smelled of jasmine and promised the night Liam slid a ring onto my finger. Under the glow of string lights in our favorite park, I, Emma, felt my heart swell. At 28, I'd clawed my way out of a dark past. Years of battling addiction, shame, and a sister who never let me forget it. Liam, with his steady smile and quiet strength, was my anchor. His proposal wasn't just a promise of love. It was proof I'd rebuilt myself. I was enough. But Claire, my older sister, always had a way of poisoning my joy. Growing up, she was the golden child, perfect grades, perfect smile, perfect lies. I was the screw-up, the one mom and dad whispered about. Even after I got clean, Claire's subtle jabs never stopped. "Oh, Emma, you're still sober? Impressive." Her voice dripped with honeyed venom. When I told her about the engagement, her smile tightened, eyes glinting like a predator's. "Liam's family is so traditional," she said. "Hope they're okay with your history." I brushed it off. Claire was always a storm cloud, but I had my sunshine. Liam's parents, the Harpers, were stiff but kind. They welcomed me at their sprawling estate for dinner, asking polite questions about my graphic design business. I thought we were solid, until the letter arrived. It came in a crisp envelope, addressed to Liam's parents. Inside, a stack of documents, rehab records, discharge papers, even a forged doctor's note. All claiming I'd relapsed, checked into a shady clinic, and lied about it. The dates were recent, the details chillingly precise. My stomach churned as Liam called me, his voice heavy. "Emma, is this true?" "No." I choked out, tears burning. "I've been sober for 5 years. You know that." But doubt shadowed his eyes. His parents, devout and unyielding, saw addiction as a moral failing. They demanded he end it. "We can't risk our family's reputation," his mother said. Liam, caught between love and loyalty, caved. "I need time," he whispered, leaving me standing in my apartment, the ring heavy in my palm. Days blurred into nights of sobbing into pillows. My best friend, Mia, brought coffee and rage. "This stinks of Claire," she said, slamming her mug down. "She's always hated you shining brighter than her." I didn't want to believe it. Claire was cruel, but this? Faking records? It was monstrous. Yet the more I thought about it, the more it fit. Claire knew my past, my triggers. She'd been at my lowest, watching me fall apart. She had the means to twist it against me. I started digging. Late nights, fueled by coffee and fury, I scoured my old emails. There it was, a forwarded message from Claire to a friend at a shady printing shop, discussing confidential documents. My blood ran cold. She'd orchestrated it all, weaponizing my past to shatter my future. Why? Because Claire was engaged too, to Daniel, a wealthy businessman who adored her. My happiness was a threat to her spotlight. I could have confronted her. Screamed, cried, begged for answers. But Claire didn't deserve my tears. She deserved a reckoning. I wiped my eyes, opened my laptop, and started planning. Claire's engagement party was in 3 weeks, a lavish affair at a downtown hotel, packed with elite guests. If she wanted to play dirty, I'd play dirtier. I'd expose her, not just to Daniel, but to everyone she'd charmed into believing her lies. This wasn't just revenge. It was justice. Mini cliffhanger. As I hacked into Claire's email, a single line stopped me cold. "If Emma ever finds out, I'll make sure she loses everything." My heart pounded as Claire's email glared back at me. "If Emma ever finds out, I'll make sure she loses everything." The word seared into my mind, a taunt from the sister who'd already stolen so much. I, Emma, wasn't just fighting for my broken engagement anymore. This was about survival. Claire had drawn a line, and I was ready to cross it. I leaned back in my chair, the glow of my laptop casting shadows across my tiny apartment. Mia sat across from me, her eyes wide as I showed her the email. "She's unhinged," Mia whispered, her voice a mix of awe and disgust. "What's the plan, Em?" I didn't answer right away. My mind was a storm, anger, betrayal, and a cold, sharp focus. Claire thought she'd buried me, but I was digging my way out, and I'd bring her down with me. First, I needed proof. The email was a start, but it wasn't enough to unravel Claire's web of lies. She was clever, always had been. Every move she made was calculated, her charm a mask for the venom underneath. I remembered the forged rehab records, meticulous, professional, almost flawless. Almost. I traced the email's friend to a sketchy print shop downtown, run by a guy named Vince. Mia knew him from her old bartending days. Shady as hell, she said. He'd forge a birth certificate for $100. I met Vince at a grimy diner, the kind where the coffee tastes like regret. He was wiry, with darting eyes and a smirk that screamed trouble. Claire paid me to whip up those papers, he admitted after I slid a 50 across the table. Said it was a prank. Didn't ask questions. I pressed him for more, receipts, messages, anything. He hesitated, then handed over a USB drive. Screenshots of our chats. Don't tell her it was me. I nodded, my pulse racing. This was the first brick in Claire's crumbling empire. Back home, I pored over the files. Texts between Claire and Vince, invoices for the forged documents, even a draft of the fake doctor's note. It was damning, but I needed more. Claire wasn't just a liar, she was a predator. I hacked deeper into her email, my graphic design skills giving me an edge with tech. What I found made my stomach twist. Claire wasn't just sabotaging me. She was hiding her own secrets, shady loans, fake credentials to impress Daniel's family, even a side hustle scamming investors with a non-existent startup. She'd built her perfect life on a house of cards. I could have gone to the police, but that felt too easy. Claire didn't just deserve consequences. She deserved to feel the weight of her lies. Her engagement party was the perfect stage. A glittering hotel ballroom, packed with Daniel's wealthy family and their high society friends. Claire would be the radiant bride-to-be, basking in adoration. I'd make sure her spotlight burned her alive. The plan took shape over sleepless nights. Mia was my rock, sneaking me invites to the party through a mutual friend. I contacted a tech guy, Alex, who owed me a favor from a freelance gig. He could rig the venue's AV system to play my evidence, a slideshow of Claire's lies, synced to a recorded confession from Vince I'd coerced over the phone. Every detail had to be perfect. One misstep, and Claire would spin it, paint me as the jealous sister. I couldn't let her win again. As the party loomed, I felt the weight of what I was doing. Revenge wasn't just a thrill, it was a knife's edge. I thought of Liam, his face when he left me, the ring still sitting on my dresser. Could I fix things with him? Did I even want to after he doubted me? Those questions gnawed at me, but I pushed them aside. This wasn't about love anymore. It was about taking back my life. I stood in front of my mirror, practicing the calm smile I'd wear at the party. Inside, I was a furnace of rage and resolve. Claire had no idea what was coming. She'd torn my world apart, but I was about to return the favor, piece by devastating piece. The night before the party, my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Back off, Emma, or you'll regret it. The text glowed on my phone screen. Back off, Emma, or you'll regret it. My breath caught, fingers trembling as I stared at the unknown number. Claire. It had to be her. She'd always had a sixth sense for trouble, like a shark smelling blood. I, Emma, sat frozen in my dimly lit apartment, the weight of her threat sinking in. She knew I was onto her. But how? I'd been careful. Encrypted emails, burner apps, hushed talks with Mia. My plan for her engagement party was a secret, locked tight. Or so I thought. I called Mia, my voice low. She's threatening me. Mia cursed, her usual fire dimmed by worry. You sure it's her? Could be Vince, covering his tracks. I doubted it. Vince was a coward, not bold enough to threaten me directly. Claire, though, she thrived on control. This was her warning shot, a dare to keep pushing. I wasn't backing down. Not now, not when I was so close to tearing her perfect facade apart. The next morning, I doubled down. I met Alex, my tech guy, in a crowded cafe, the clatter of dishes masking our words. He was all business, adjusting his glasses as he explained the AV hack. I'll loop your slideshow into the venue's system, he said. Emails, screenshots, Vince's confession, boom, it'll play on every screen during her speech. I handed him the final USB, my heart pounding. No mistakes, Alex. This has to be flawless. He nodded, but his eyes flickered with unease. You sure about this, Emma? It's nuclear. I forced a smile. She started the war. Days ticked by, each one heavier than the last. I kept my routine normal, client calls, coffee runs, fake smiles to avoid suspicion. But inside, I was unraveling. Claire's threat lingered like a shadow. What if she'd found my evidence? What if she turned this on me? I checked my locks twice each night, my dreams jagged with her smug face. Liam called once, his voice soft with guilt. Emma, can we talk? I wanted to scream at him, to ask why he hadn't trusted me. Instead, I said, not now. Revenge came first. The night before Claire's engagement party, I laid out my dress, a sleek black number, elegant but understated. I wasn't there to steal the show. I was there to burn it down. Mia came over, her eyes scanning my face. "You okay, Em? You look haunted." I shrugged, forcing a laugh. "Just nerves." But it was more. This wasn't just about exposing Claire. It was about proving I wasn't the broken girl she thought I was. The girl everyone thought I was. I reviewed the plan obsessively. Alex had confirmed the AV system was rigged. The slideshow was brutal. Screenshots of Claire's emails to Vince, bank transfers for the forged rehab records, and her scam startup's fake prospectus. Vince's recorded confession was the kicker, his shaky voice admitting Claire paid him to ruin me. I'd timed it for Claire's toast, when every eye would be on her. Daniel, her fiancé, would see it. His family, her friends, the whole glittering crowd. They'd all see her for what she was. But doubt crept in. What if Claire spun it? She was a master manipulator, always one step ahead. I imagined her laughing it off, calling it a jealous sister's prank. Or worse, what if she had something on me? My past wasn't spotless. Years of addiction left scars, mistakes I'd buried. If she dug them up, could I withstand the fallout? I pushed the thought away. She'd already taken my engagement, my trust, my peace. I had nothing left to lose. The morning of the party, I stood in my bathroom, staring at my reflection. My eyes were sharp, my jaw set. I wasn't the Emma who'd sobbed when Liam left. I was someone new, someone who'd make Claire pay. As I slipped into my dress, my phone buzzed again. Another text from the unknown number. "Last chance, Emma. Walk away." I ignored the text, but as I stepped into the hotel's grand ballroom that night, I saw Claire across the room, smirking, like she knew something I didn't. Claire's smirk sliced through the ballroom's golden glow like a blade. She stood at the center of the opulent hotel, her ivory gown shimmering, surrounded by adoring guests. I, Emma, lingered near the back, my black dress blending into the shadows. My pulse thundered, each beat a reminder of her threat. "Last chance, Emma. Walk away." She knew something, but I was too far in to turn back. Tonight, her lies would unravel before this glittering crowd. Her fiancé, Daniel, his elite family, her carefully curated allies. I'd make sure of it. The ballroom dripped with extravagance, crystal chandeliers, champagne flutes clinking, laughter rising like a tide. Claire played her role perfectly, gliding from guest to guest, her smile a polished weapon. I caught Daniel's eye across the room, his kind face softened by love for her. My stomach twisted. He didn't deserve this, but neither did I when Claire faked those rehab records to shatter my engagement to Liam. This wasn't just revenge, it was reckoning. I checked my phone, hidden in my clutch. A text from Alex. "AV system ready. Signal when you want it live." My fingers trembled as I typed back. During her toast. The plan was simple but brutal. When Claire took the stage to gush about her perfect life, my slideshow would hijack every screen. Her emails to Vince, the forged documents, her scam startup's lies, and Vince's recorded confession, his voice cracking as he admitted her scheme. I'd timed it to hit like a sledgehammer, exposing her as the fraud she was. The band slowed and a hush fell. Claire stepped onto the stage, radiant, her voice honeyed as she began her toast. "To love," she said, raising her glass, "and to new beginnings." The crowd cooed, Daniel beaming beside her. My heart raced. "Now." I nodded to Alex, hidden in the AV booth. The screens flickered, and for a moment I thought it failed. Then there it was, my evidence, blazing across every monitor. A screenshot of Claire's email to Vince. "Make the rehab records convincing. Emma can't suspect." Gasps rippled through the room. Another slide, bank transfers, thousands paid for the forgery. Then Vince's voice, tinny but clear. "Claire told me to ruin her sister. Said it'd be easy." The crowd froze, glasses clinking to a stop. Claire's face drained of color, her smile a crumbling mask. "What is this?" she stammered, turning to Daniel. He stared at the screens, his jaw tight. I stepped forward, my voice steady despite the fire in my chest. "It's the truth, Claire. You faked my relapse to destroy my engagement. You lied to everyone." The room spun with whispers, eyes darting between us. Daniel's mother, a stern woman in pearls, stood, her face like stone. "Is this true?" she demanded. Claire's laugh was shrill, desperate. "It's a prank. Emma's jealous, always has been." But the slides kept rolling. Her fake startup prospectus, emails scamming investors. The evidence was undeniable. Daniel's voice cut through, low and broken. "Claire, did you do this?" She reached for him, but he stepped back, shaking his head. The crowd parted as he walked out, his family trailing, their faces etched with disgust. Claire spun toward me, her eyes wild. "You'll pay for this, Emma," she hissed, but her voice was drowned by the murmurs of betrayal. Guests turned away, some leaving, others staring like she was a fallen idol. I stood tall, my heart pounding but light. I'd done it. Claire's perfect world was in ruins, her lies exposed to the people she'd worked so hard to deceive. But as I watched her stumble off the stage, something cold settled in me. Victory felt sharp, not sweet. Had I gone too far? The question lingered as I slipped out into the night, the city's hum swallowing the chaos behind me. As I reached my car, my phone lit up with a voicemail from Liam. "Emma, I saw what happened. We need to talk now." Liam's voicemail echoed in my ears as I stood by my car, the city's pulse thrumming around me. "Emma, I saw what happened. We need to talk now." My fingers hovered over the screen, trembling. I, Emma, had just dismantled Claire's world at her engagement party, exposing her lies to a room of shocked guests. Her forged rehab records, her scams, her betrayal, all laid bare on those screens. But Liam's voice stirred something I'd buried: regret, longing, and a question I wasn't ready to face. Could I rebuild what Claire had broken? I drove home, the night blurring past, my mind replaying the chaos. Claire's face, pale and fractured as the slideshow burned her lies to ash. Daniel's retreat, his family's icy stares. The whispers that followed me out. I'd won, but the victory felt hollow, like biting into fruit only to taste dust. My phone buzzed again. "Claire. You're dead to me," her text read. No apologies, no remorse. Just venom. I deleted it, my chest tight. She was the villain, but I'd wielded the blade. What did that make me? At my apartment, I found Liam waiting outside, his face drawn, eyes heavy with guilt. "I heard about the party," he said, stepping closer. "Emma, I'm so sorry. I should have trusted you." His words cracked something in me, but I held firm. "You left me, Liam. When I needed you, you believed her lies." He winced, nodding. "I was wrong. My family, they pushed and I folded. But I never stopped loving you." I wanted to believe him, to fall into the warmth of his arms. But trust, once shattered, doesn't mend easily. I let him in, and we talked until dawn. He'd seen the fallout online. Guests posting about Claire's disgrace, her engagement canceled, her reputation in tatters. Daniel's family had cut ties, and whispers of legal trouble swirled, tied to her scams. Liam reached for my hand, but I pulled back. "I need time," I said, echoing his words from months ago. He nodded, leaving the ring on my table. "I'll wait," he whispered, then left. Days later, Mia dragged me to coffee, her eyes gleaming. "You're a legend, Em. Claire's hiding out, dodging calls. You did it." But I felt no triumph. Claire's downfall hadn't erased my pain. It hadn't brought back the nights I'd cried myself to sleep, or the trust I'd lost in Liam, in myself. I'd exposed her, but at what cost? I'd become someone who schemed, who hurt. The moral wasn't loud, but it was clear. Revenge burns brightly, but it leaves scars. Weeks passed. I rebuilt my life, piece by piece. Work steadied me, design projects, late-night sketches, a new client who didn't know my past. Liam called sometimes, and I answered, our talks tentative but growing. Claire vanished from my world, her silence louder than her threats. I heard she'd moved, chasing a fresh start where no one knew her shame. I didn't care. She was my past, not my future. One evening, I slipped the ring back on, just to feel its weight. Not a promise, but a possibility. I wasn't the broken girl Claire had tried to bury, nor the avenger who'd struck back. I was Emma, flawed, fierce, and finding my way. If I were in this situation, here's what I would have done. Confronted Claire privately first, given her a chance to confess before going nuclear. Revenge felt good, but truth alone might have been enough. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.